Melissa here, and I'm really excited because I am going to make a layout with my Secret Not Secret kit, and I've already made one layout with it, but I didn't make a video, but I want to make a video with this one. And it's I'm playing along with the bingo challenge that Christy put up on the Facebook page, and so what I selected was the following. It was the row going down. I selected a cut file, so I have this one from the cut shop that I've cut out, and it's just the noughts and crosses with a heart in the middle. It was 6x6 paper, so I've pulled this one, and what I'm thinking is slipping it behind like this. And the next thing was flare. Now my kit didn't have any flare, but what I love about these kits is that there's no rules. You can add from your stash, and that's what I have done. I've added a few more things in, and I'll talk about that as I make more layouts. So here's some flare I've pulled from my stash. Before I get any further, I have this photo of Sam on his birthday when he turned 10 this year, so I thought to celebrate, this is a Christmas flare, but I thought it might work quite well. And like I say, no rules. You can do whatever you want with scrapbooking. The next item was enamel dots. Now, I don't have dots, I have crosses, but I think that I'm going to get away with it because, you know, enamel shape, enamel dot, there's not much difference. And the final item was chipboard, and I pulled these from my stash as well because this is a chipboard alpha from Fancy Pants Life is Beautiful collection, and I absolutely adore them. I got them in a click kit, and so I haven't used them that much, and I think I want to use the 10. I was almost going to say 11, the 10. So I've got plenty of numbers and things left there, and maybe even some of the letters too. And what I'm intending, this is as far as I've got, is that I want to back this, because it's white, I want to back it on a piece of paper, and I've selected this one by the Creekside collection called Night Sky, and the reverse is that plaid, which I'm not really that into. Sometimes, you know, you have to make a sacrifice, and so I just love the way that looks on there. And then I'm going to probably pop that underneath to fill out that. And maybe even use some more 6x6 paper to back my photo. I'm not sure at the moment, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I may even do some stitching and have this smile. Now, I've added some things just while I'm showing you because you would have probably watched my kit reveal. But I was going through and doing a big clean out of my stash, and what I pulled was some items from the Pink Paisley Cedar Lane collection, and I think that they work in really, really well with this kit. I mean, the colours are right, and they're quite boy themed. Just trying to think. Okay, so that Wanda came in the kit, and this Grateful and Smile didn't, but very, very similar, and I think they'll work well. So I was going to use the Smile because he's smiling. I even might use the Wonderful because it goes really well. And I'll just show you, like, if you look at this, how perfect is that? These are autumn or fall colours, so they work well. So yeah, I'm gonna get started, and I'll be back to talk to you in a sec. So the first thing I decided to do was add a little bit of mixed media to this beautiful background paper. I'm just going to sprinkle it with some Heidi Swap Colour Shine in Gold, which is my absolute favourite. And I didn't want to do too much because you can see that as well as the constellation pattern, there's also a white kind of wash over it, and it's just beautiful. So there I was just checking to make sure that my cut file was going to look good and that I'd put enough gold splatters on. So at this point I'm thinking of backing my photo with this 6x6 paper, but I decided that I'd rather have it behind the noughts as I'd shown you at the beginning. So I've cut some of this out because it's another battle with my glue bottle, but all I did was just on that one I glued around the circle, and on the next one I glue around the paper, because I find that if I glue around the circle I glue far too wide and then end up having to deal with extra glue. So I don't want it to stick to my sheet of paper that I've got as my just desk cover. So I'd also backed my photo in white cardstock. I'm not sure if I'd done that at the very beginning or not when I did my live part of this video. So now I decided once again, because on my first layout I also backed my photo with this beautiful gold wood grain, and I just had to do it with this one as well. And so what I do is I find a piece of the paper that has a lot more gold than white, and that way it'll be definitely clear that it's gold. And I love it. It's really subtle, but it's really pretty, and it definitely helps to bring out those gold splatters. So here I'm just checking my positioning again. I do a lot of checking. I never noticed that until I started making videos. So now I am gluing, and I'm not putting too much glue on the divisions between the noughts and the crosses. And that's because I intend to do some hand stitching. So I'm just eyeballing it. I could get all pedantic and get a ruler out, but I'm not. That will come later. But I'm happy with that placement, and I do trust my eye when it comes to positioning things. So the next thing I wanted to do was add some dimension. I did think about adding dimension to the cut file, but that would mean that I'd have to do my stitching on the cut file before I glue it down, and it's definitely easier to stitch it once it's down. So yeah, that's another option you could do though with this cut file, is add your foam behind it and have it popping off the page, but I chose to have my photo pop up. So now I am adding where I'm going to put my stitching. So I've got my piercing mat and my paper piercer, and this is where I went and got my ruler. Now my ruler is what my iPhone sits on for me to do my filming, so I couldn't do that on camera. But all I did was, I didn't measure, I just placed it in the center of each of these lines, and that way it enables me to get an even and straight line of piercing, which will become stitching. Now, one thing you want to do is where two lines meet, you want to put your hole in that center before you pierce the entire line. That way you are absolutely certain that you'll get your middle. You need the middle so both lines can line up. So I hope you understand what I mean. You'll see what I mean as I go along. So I've pierced I think that whole line, and now I'm just showing you some of the stitching just so you can see what I do. And at this point I realised that I hadn't rubbed out or erased those pencil lines, and you do want to do that because just in the instance that it could be seen. So that's what I'm doing there. And so I've also put a hole at the end of each of the lines, and that way my first hole, or my first stitch, or in this case second, but basically I will stitch over the end and through to the back, so I don't have any sort of weird white end and stitching not going the whole way. So you can see what I mean there. I really do hope that I made sense, because even I was getting a bit confused. Now I have this doily, and I decided to include it, and so I had the idea of stapling it, but in reality only one of the parts of it was able to be reached by my stapler, but that's okay, that helps hold it in place. So I'm just using this really massive double-sided tape rather than glue, and now I'm going to use my glue just to commit to gluing this down, this foam. So I have to keep wiping my glue, because once I get it going it seems to go too much. So then I'm just putting my stapler on top to hold that down. And then I've got this word awesome, and if you watched my kit share you would have seen that it got broken in the post, but it doesn't matter, it's easily fixed. It goes together along the break, and you'd never know looking at the final layout. So now I'm wanting to get the letters, numbers, 10, 1 and 0, and so I had thought about using a white dipped one and a black dipped one, but you'll see that I changed that up as well to both have them black dipped. It just didn't look quite right. I think it's because the cut file is white. Now that wonderful, that comes from the We Are Memory Keepers Wildflowers collection, which was also in an old clip kit. I think I'd said earlier in this video that it came from Pink Paisley Cedar Lane, but it doesn't. And here I've got my flare. I'm wanting to use 3, but at this point the only one that I think will make it is that one on the X at the top, and it's just got the north, south, east and west on it. So here is a I think it's a piece of ephemera, and so I'm adding some dimension with a little pop dot at the end and gluing the other end down. And then I had these beautiful pieces of this, what am I trying to say? A banner piece, and it's got a woodland scene on it, and I thought it was beautiful with the gold to bring out the other gold elements I have. I've also pulled out one of those stickers. I think it's his favourite. That's from the One Canoe 2 collection. And now I'm just fiddling around with these because I want to make sure I've got the right ones. The Celebrate one didn't end up making it. That's Brielle trying to add the cork ampersand. I'm telling her no. And then she tries to add the pretty little studio words, and I also tell her no. I've added that little stamp tucked behind that sticker. And I looked at these oars and I thought, how awesome would they... That's a pun, guys. How awesome would they look crossed over? Now, this has got nothing to do with paddling. He doesn't do any paddling at this stage, but they just look really good, I think, lined up. And I've just put pop dots underneath the bottoms of them as well. So then I'm adding some of these stars because I think it goes so well with the background paper. A couple more of those crosses. And then I found on the basic grey sheet another flag or a banner. So I'm adding dimension onto all of the ends of my banners. And then some more words. I love how that one there crosses over the oars. And then I did struggle with where to put my journaling, but I think this really fits nicely where I've put it here. And you can read that on the final shot if you want. And that, I think I'm nearly there with my layout. I added the date. This was actually his birthday, which is why it's called Awesome 10. And I took that photo before he went to school in the morning. So here I'm needing to add another banner, and I'm going with a triangle this time and adding dimension as well. And what you won't see is me adding some staples. So I'm nearly done. There are some close-ups coming up at the end. I loved playing along with this challenge. I'm finding these challenges are definitely kickstarting my creativity and helping me to use up my kit. So I'm just fiddling around with these two. These are the final flare that make it. I think that one with the on button is really quite appropriate for him being into computers. So thank you so much for watching, and take care.